Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Mojola. So in today's video, I'm telling you guys a little bit about my career journey and how I got to this point in my life basically. If you're interested in learning more or you're a creative looking to get into tech, definitely keep on watching. So to start off, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my background. Ever since I could remember, since I was very young, I loved art and anything to do with being creative. I actually went to university for visual arts and I took some graphic design courses. I left with a bachelor's of fine arts with honors. I actually picked to do visual arts only because I really did not know what else to pick. And I was really good at it. I also got a lot of admission into different art schools, so that's what I picked. It wasn't until my third year of university that I realized my plan was not well thought out. I actually had no real plan. Everybody around me, all of my peers, were either doing a double major in education or planning on getting an MFA in visual arts, which is like a master's of fine arts. I think this is very common for a lot of people who choose degrees that aren't like a very straightforward path. It's kind of crazy how a lot of us are expected to know exactly what we want to do for the rest of our life at the age of 17. I kind of had an idea, but it was extremely vague. I looked to my parents for guidance and help, and I prayed a lot. The reason why it's so scary is because your adult life hits you and you realize, dang, what am I gonna do after school is done? So my parents definitely tried to help me a lot and gave me a lot of suggestions, like to go back to school and be an accountant, be a nurse, go to law school. I ended up applying for nursing school, and I was going to go to nursing school to become an RPN. My brother and my mom are actually both in the medical field, so I figured even though I didn't really want to become a nurse, maybe they would help me out and I would end up liking it in the end. Plus, it's a for sure job and it's a very stable industry, so why not? During this time, there are two things that my parents used to always tell me that really stood out to me. Number one is you can be scared of change, you can be scared of many different things, but never be scared of hard work. Number two is you don't know that you don't like something until you try it, which is a bit problematic depending on how you look at it, but I'll tell you more about why later. While I was praying to God to give me a sign about what I should do for the rest of my life, I was also applying to nursing school and I was also researching many different types of careers. So at this point, sometimes I did feel as though my art degree was completely useless, but my brother and some other people also told me that it's not useless, it just depends on how I use it. I started doing research on what I can do with my art degree, what kind of skills I can gain. My thinking starts to become, how can I make myself more marketable in order to get a really good job or in order to start a really good career? I know I'm an artist, but I can't just put hire me because I'm creative on my resume. Like, what can I build and how can I help your company or your organization? And that is when I came across front-end development. So at the same time that I applied for nursing school, I also applied for a front-end development class called Ladies Learning Code. I ended up actually getting a scholarship to this class and I didn't even get into nursing school. It was a lot of complications with my high school transcript, which now looking back, hindsight is 2020, and I think it was honestly like a sign from God that I should not have been going to nursing school. Reaffirmed that this is what I should be doing. I was kind of moving in the right direction. It was an 8-week program. At this point of starting the program, I was just finishing up my 4th year of university, and a friend of my mom's asked what I was doing. And my mom told her that I was trying to get into like more digital media, build my skills. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was learning different things basically. And so he connected me with a friend of his who had just started a startup company and was looking for somebody creative. My dad actually builds software, so he's been doing that my whole life, and I never really knew much like about it. So that was the first startup company that I actually worked for, and my experience was honestly like no other because I learned so many different things. I wore so many different hats. I was a creative director, a graphic designer, a social media manager, a videographer, a bookkeeper. I learned a lot, and it really made me realize how important it is to have many different types of skills, especially when you're working at a startup company. After working for 2 years at the startup, I actually decided to go back to school. And the difference between me going back to school now and when I originally went to school for visual arts was that I knew exactly what I wanted out of the program. I wanted a program that was a mixture of design, business, and tech, and I wanted either a postgraduate or a master's program. I actually chose a college postgraduate program here in Toronto, and I chose that program because it promised to be more hands-on than a master's degree. So that was my background, and that is how I started in this industry. Now I'm going to tell you guys a lot of helpful tips that I learned along the way, and I wish people would have told me, but I'm lucky that I kind of figured it out myself, and I'm still learning as I go. My number one helpful tip is to build your skills and diversify your portfolio. Now earlier I was saying that this could be problematic. Remember, my parents were saying that you don't know if you don't like something until you try it. Now, I tried many different things. I took courses in graphic design, I took courses in front-end development and back-end development. I learned a little bit about some photography and videography. The good thing about what I did though was that I knew what I liked, I knew what interested me, and they were all basically connected. You want to be a master of one thing and pretty good at many different things. That is what's gonna make you stand out and make you valuable at any startup company. As companies get bigger and grow, more positions become available and your position gets more and more niche. So you're gonna be pushed into basically what you're good at. For the start of your career and as a creative, I would definitely suggest for people to learn new things, learn how to use social media, learn how to build websites, take pictures and make videos. That's what I did, and it really made me confident to be able to ask somebody to pay me a certain amount because I know what I'm worth, and I got very good at these things here. Too often I see very young people make money as their motivation. Now I know we all need money, we all need to survive, especially if you're living in an expensive city like Toronto. I was lucky enough to live at home while I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I volunteered at a lot of many different places while I also had a job as well. Number one, because when I started working at my first startup company, I very quickly realized that my graphic design skills and my skills with the Adobe suite weren't as great as the freelancers that my boss was hiring, and I wanted to be better than them. I wanted to be the best at what I was doing. Instead of only just taking courses and doing tutorials with these different programs, I decided to volunteer so that I can actually practice and push myself, or somebody else pushing me basically, to get a job done. This was extremely helpful because you have to be very self-motivated to work on your own projects. If you're working for a company and it's Monday and something's due on Friday, it has to be done by Friday. If it's your own project which has no real deadline, then it's very easy to end up pushing it till next Wednesday. Now, a lot of people will suggest that you should never work for free. I don't know if that is necessarily true because I have worked for free and I have also bartered for positions. So basically, I'll do a service for you and you do a service to me. If you spend too long not designing and not creating, you're not gonna be growing. And that is worse than not getting paid. So volunteering is definitely my favorite version of networking. I'm not the best at networking. I'm not one of those people who will go to a networking event and meet like 20 different people and add them all on LinkedIn and make like really beneficial relationships. So just to give you guys an example of how volunteering has helped me in the past, with the employer that I'm currently at right now, I actually got the position or the interview for this job before it was even advertised. And that's because I volunteered for the founder on 2 different occasions in the past, and he really liked my work. When he had a position, a paying position that fit my skills, he made sure to keep me in mind and hire me first. I definitely do believe that when you put in the work, you will get what you deserve in the end. My third tip for you guys is it is extremely important to stay learning because the industry and trends are always changing. There are many different websites that you can do courses on for free too. There's lynda.com, Coursera, and Udemy, and obviously YouTube. You can learn for free. Before you go back to school and spend a lot of money, you should definitely check out these free resources that we do have. Even after getting your dream job, it's very important to stay on top of these things and stay learning. I still do want to get a master's degree, but I just do not know exactly what I want to get it in yet, and I'm still growing in the company that I'm in right now, so there's no rush to go back to school. The best part of the program were the people that I was in the class with. The creatives that I met were amazing, and I made a lot of lifelong friendships. My next tip I've heard from a lot of different leaders, it is to not be too tied to any company or any person. be tied to a purpose or your morals and your beliefs. And that's what's really gonna guide you. If you stand for something, people will know you for what you stand for. Leave companies when you feel like you've outgrown them or you're not growing anymore and you want a new opportunity. That I feel like is the main reason why I would leave a company, not necessarily because of more money. Early in your career, I'm gonna say over and over again, money cannot be your main motivation. It's definitely one of them, but it's not the main one. The good thing about Toronto is that there are so many career and job opportunities, especially in the tech industry. The also bad thing is that there's so much competition. I remember when I was applying for jobs right after school, before I got this position, I applied to at least 80 to 100 jobs and I got a lot of no's. I got a few interviews, turned into no's in the end, and I got a few will keep you in mind for laters. So some of you may have questions about what I actually do at the company that I work at right now. My role is creative lead, which is kind of like a cool title. I do a bit of everything. I do design for everything: the website, presentation decks, events, social media, all of our social media. I also do UX design. Basically anything that has to do with being creative or design, my team relies on me. I really love it and I get to work with a lot of amazing people and amazing companies as well. Recently, a friend asked me for resources on how to become a UX designer, and it really just made me do research on all of the free things that are out there for people who are looking to get into UX design. I know it can be very confusing, but luckily there are so many things that are free out there. So I would always suggest to people, before they start spending any money on courses, definitely look into the free resources that are out there. Now, luckily for you guys, I've already created a document that has a bunch of free resources about UX design. Look for it in the description box below. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, please comment them down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you have any video suggestions of what you'd like to see from me relating to this topic or any topic, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, guys.